It's me. So today we're going to start working again on um, this little page here that we've been working on before. This is in the book from Hanna Karlzon. It's called Magical Dawn. And I started working on this a little while ago, and I got kind of sidetracked with the background tutorials, and thought it would be nice for us to get back to getting this thing on its way to being finished. Today I'm looking at it and I'm digging the background for the most part. I'll probably want to solidify and soften up maybe some gradients here and there, but overall it's starting to come together. So I'm going to move on to the face again, and let's start with the skin. Now, over the course of the time that has lapsed, I have made a decision that these little dots here, these little things, I'm actually probably going to try and get rid of those. I know that they are part of the original coloring book design. However, I'm probably just going to get rid of those. So there's a couple of ways that we can go about doing this. Another option would be to make them into bubbles, but I think that it would either make sense to make them into like a scaly kind of flesh thing, or to make them go away. So I'm going to make them go away. Now this is very difficult on these surface areas because there is a lot of blending going on, so I'm actually going to draw right through them and ignore them completely, and then at the very end I will figure out how to handle those. So without any further ado, I'm going to break out my pencil case. So I have this beautiful pencil case. Let's see here if I can actually... So since I have been working on other projects and stuff, I actually put my pencils away that I was working on this project. So now I have to go through and remember which ones I picked, and I'm going to pull them again. They don't have to be exactly the same, however, I would like to pull a nice little palette. So I have a swatches thing, and I'm just going to go ahead and have a little ball here picking out my colors yet again. What I would do if I were you, and this is something that happens to me all the time, is if I forget what colors I was using, I'm not going to sit there and fret about it. I'm just going to start picking colors. So as I pick them, I'll call them out. So this one here I picked out is Deco Pink. That's 1014. I'm picking flesh tones for right now. I'm also going to pick 1001 Salmon Pink. I remember using this guy, so that's nice. I want the skin to have a little bit more of a bluey tone to it. Let's see if I can find... And some of them will be over here. There we go. So I'm going to pull this guy here. It's a 1017 Clay Rose. I don't know if I'm focused. There we go. I like that color. 1017. Yes, that's a kind of darker. So 1102. Now I'm going to move on into... Actually, no, wait. Hold on. So I am just running through different values and different ideas of maybe what I might want to go with, and trying to look at my color chart, really determine what color might be the best to help me out with what I'm trying to accomplish today. 907. So let's see here. I'm going to pick a very... Here we go. This is a green, actually. Peacock green, 907. So this guy here, I don't know if it's focused. There we go. Peacock green, 907. That might help me with the shadows. And because the watercolor is very green. And then for the highlights, I'd like the highlights to have a bluey tint to them because she's underwater. So I'm going to grab, let's see here. Which color? 1102. So this guy here is Blue Lake. I'm going to pull that color. That looks good. And I think I need a couple more colors for these skin tones. So I'm going to pull 1080 Beige Sienna. I don't know if that's focusing. I'm also going to pull, let's see if I can find it. Let's see. 927. Yeah, here it is. Light peach. I'll pull this guy here. 927 light peach. And I would like some sandy colors. So I'll pull PC 140 here, which is eggshell. I'm going to pull that color too. So I can't promise you I'm going to use all these colors, but these are just colors I'm pulling. In preparation, thinking that I may. Now, as for the shadows, I like to cool those off a little bit. So I'm actually going to use PC 936 Slate Gray. And I will also use PC 1074 70% French Gray. I think that one might also be useful. Okay, so I want to show you here. I think we have a nice selection of skin tones. So I just want to show you here what we've got going, so that way you can really see the selection of color. So you can see how I have a lot of pinks and peaches, and then some blues and greens. I also have some yellowy sand colors. So all these colors I think mixed together, I think might make quite a nice skin tone. So let's see what we've got here. Alright, so I like starting at the eyes when I start with a portrait. I feel like once you get the eyes down, again, so I'm going to start with the skin around the eyes. And to start with, let's try, we've already got sort of the basic like shadows and highlights and stuff going on there, if you can see. So I'm going to start in with the darker areas. So I'm going to go in here, and I like to start on sort of this inner like eye area kind of. And I'm going to start on the far side of the face because it's in perspective, and so it's a little trickier. let's just go ahead and get going here. So with this demo, I'm not going to teach you all about everything I know about skin tones. However, you can feel free to follow along, pick the same colors I do, and you know, use my palette obviously and learn that way. I will be focusing on color theory and picking colors and skin tones and all that stuff at later videos. This is just a general real-time demo at the moment. But, you know, I'm drawing a lady with fairly realistic looking skin tone, so hopefully that will help answer some of those questions that you might have. So what I do to one side, I like to try to do to the other, so that way we have an equal representation of what's happening on the face. And I'm just working in circular motions with light pressure. Trying to be fairly tidy though. The skin is something that I like to make look rather smooth most of the time, unless there's a specific reason why it shouldn't. Rather nice to have it look really smooth, and so since I prefer that, I tend to try to work fairly neat and tidy while I'm working on the skin, just to make it easier for blending later. And you can see here I kind of jump back and forth. I'm back over on the other side now. I work where it catches my eye and where I see it needs some help first, and then I continue on my merry way as soon as I've resolved something. This is just because I find that otherwise sometimes I forget to fix something if I say, oh, let me get to that later, and then I never do. So just as a reminder, the light is coming from the top left. The top right, sorry, your other left. And so, so all of these areas will be in highlight. So I'm just sort of working around those areas that I've already established as being in highlight, and just sort of drawing on my general knowledge to go ahead and shade. And I'm working sideways, so sometimes I kind of have to tilt my head a little. Like, it's hard for me to I've never worked on a whole piece sideways. I do tend to rotate my canvases and my drawings. When I get stuck, I'll look at them at a different angle, and that helps me see my mistakes. But to work solely at a different angle is a new experience and quite challenging, actually. But rather fun. So why not? So you guys, you see me, like, I'm sitting I'm right on this side here. So I'm sitting, you know, you go this way and I'm right here. Go that way. This way to Laura. Anyway, so now that I've kind of started on the upper eye area and starting to see that take shape, the way that that works, now I'm just sort of moving around a little bit more. I like to work up the whole face all at once. So you'll see now I'm going to take this color and spread it around slowly throughout the whole face until basically we get a nice new layer that is darker than the layer we have currently. And you'll see I'll work in layers and with light pressure. I think I am a broken record, and I'm really sorry that I always say it's really light pressure and lots of layers, but I mean that's how I work, guys, so it's gonna be like in every video. But I'm not worrying about the darks right now. I'm just sort of feeling out the midtones, and there will come a time where I will go pretty heavy, but right now again just feeling my way through and trying to pick out where everything belongs, so I don't go crazy on the pressure until I really understand where everything is going, basically. So here, now I'm working on the cast shadow from the hair onto the skin below. Just again, richening it up. Once you do something in one spot, it looks so much better when you do that everywhere else that it might happen. And that way, the drawing or the painting looks much more consistent. And yeah, like I've seen videos where somebody works up a whole eye and then they move over to the other eye and then do that whole eye, and I don't know how. I have no idea how they do that. My two eyes would look totally different from each other. It's just, this is just how I need to work. I can't possibly remember every single process I do. It's really, so instead I just work all over, and then it saves me having to remember a whole lot. So here I'm working on the other side here, trying to figure out where the cast shadow would go there, and kind of giving some of this darker shadow to the side of that forehead there, sort of following the planes of the face and just sort of gently working my way through it. And then softly feathering that out so it's a little less harsh. Because remember, the forehead is round. Ooh. Right, does that mean my video is done rendering? I'm rendering another video while we're doing this. And it might be ready. I'll check it later. I'm with you guys right now. So now let's go to this area down here, right under the cheek area, sort of in that hollow of the face. I know that's going to be darker for sure. I'm not sure exactly how much darker, but at least bring it to the same sort of value level as the top of the forehead, right? Because it's got to be darker than that. Well, let's just leave it at there for now. And then moving down. And then, let's see here. So there's kind of like I'm doing like that little place underneath her nose. And so then this one would actually go more like this. And you can see how I'm just kind of gently figuring out where my lights and darks are without really fussing too much about detail or getting everything perfect right now. Because remember, nothing has to be perfect. I'm actually going to use some much darker values in that nostril, so I'm going to leave it for now because I don't want to put too light a value down and then fight with it later. So I know it looks weird right now with it being blank like that. So does the lips, but we're not ready for those areas yet. Alright, she's already starting to take shape. Doesn't take much. I'm gonna also, let's see here, if I can get a little bit. Let's zoom in here. So this nosy area, this, I see a lot of people have trouble with this. So you see how I'm following the kind of the direction of where her cheek would go? But we don't need to do a whole lot. If you make it too exaggerated, then she's gonna look older. I want her to look like a young adult. Alright, now I'm gonna actually put a little more definition up here. Like so. Kind of separate where that top area and the nostril. Like so. Again, not fussing or getting a whole lot of detail down. I know I've got some kind of splooge there, but I can fix that later if it needs it. Yeah, cool. And then I'm gonna put a little tiny bit of value just right below. Like so. And a little bit of value right up here. Kind of blend that area into the bridge of the nose a little bit better. Like so. I'm gonna come back over here and address this poor little ear, which has been totally neglected. So I'm just going to give this a quick base layer. Kind of figure out where the shadows go on this. Remember the cast shadows of the earrings. And also just give a little bit of shadow around the hair. There'll be more shadow on this side. And on the other side. And just sort of softening that outline there. Now I'm also putting the same shadows on the face as a drop shadow on this side here. I'm going to leave the cheekbone shadowing in the highlighted area. For now, I'm not going to go there, only because I'm going to actually shade that in a different tone, not this color. So you can tell that I've mostly just been doing the shadows with this desaturated sort of reddish color. It's like a desaturated clay rose, I guess is what they call it, but it's like a desaturated red, really. And anyway, I do really love working with this color, but I don't want to make it desaturated in the highlights, only in the shadows. So that's why I stuck to the shadow side of the face and only did a couple of things, like the eye sockets and the nostril area, like right here, with that color, because then I'm going to come in and in these brighter areas I'm going to go in with a different color. But you can see it's already starting to take shape. Pulling back here makes me notice that the neck has not been addressed yet, so let's go ahead and put a nice little shadow here on the neck. Okay. And then let's extend this a little bit so it's a little smoother. And then I always encourage people to stand back and look at their work. It really gives you a better overview for how you're doing and what's going on. So I can already see she's starting to take shape and begin having some volume to her. And now I need to make some decisions about her skin tone, which will really affect the piece dramatically. And that is, do I want to make this side of her face, which is towards the shadow area, do I want that to be extremely bluey green and have all of the shadows take on that flare? And I think I've already kind of answered myself that I do want that because I pulled all those colors. So I think I'm going to go that way, but I still want the highlighted areas, which now I've really defined doing this process. All the highlighted areas that I haven't touched with this color, I'm probably going to leave a warmer peachy tone, like the sunlight is coming and hitting her face and warming it up. So with that in mind, I'm going to keep going. I think at this point though, we are half hour in, so I'm going to do a little bit more with this color and then swap over to a new color. Trying to keep the timing of this not so boring. So let's see here. I'm trying to figure out this bottom area is kind of complicated, so I think it would be worth my time to sort it out now while I'm kind of at the early stages. So I think that's skin. This might be skin. Is that skin? See, I don't really know what these are. I think this is skin. And then this must be skin. Pardon me while I sort out this little area is skin. And That's hair. Hair. Oh, and this is background, so I missed some background. Well, we can cover that in another spot. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is, now that I have the basic idea for the general, oh wait, hold on, missed a spot here. Oh no, wait, that's hair. Right. Okie doke, we're good. Let me actually just clean this up real quick. Alright, so now that we have figured out a basic idea for these shadows and where everything goes, now I'm going to start to go in and do some of the other stuff. So one of the things that I want to address first of all on her face is her eyebrows. This is really throwing me off and it's very hard for me to look at, so I'm going to also cover them in this in the whatchamacallit, Clay Rose PC 1017. So we're still using this guy here, and just gently fill in a first layer all over with this. Yeah, I had a feeling this might happen. My kitty might make me take a pause. She is definitely very playful. So if she gets demanding, I might end up stopping. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Abby. You guys, you should see this little cat. Here, I'll show her to you. Abby, you wanna play? Huh? You wanna play? Alright, guys. I think she might let me work, but we will see. Come here, you. You gonna come snuggle with me until we have dinner time? Alright, let's see if the little kitty will snuggle. Alright, so now that we filled in the eyebrows, it looks a little better. Definitely less stark and white. Now I'm going to do a similar treatment where I just base the area of the lips. So I'm going to use PC 1014 Deco Pink here. So I think you could see that. Then we have just a base color just to get it started. Oh, of course. I just don't like working with a very blank page. So that just light layer of color. Alright guys, well my little kitty is, this is our play session time normally, so I think I'm going to have to call it done for right now, but fear not, we will continue on with this mermaid drawing, and I will keep going as long as you guys still are watching it. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this session. It was a quick little video, but I still feel like we got something done. She's starting to take shape and emerge from the paper, so yeah. Anyway, thanks again for watching. If you liked this video, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That helps out my channel a lot. And If you are new and this is your first video, then hit that subscribe button because I'll be doing stuff just like this in other videos. And thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful, magical time coloring.